Tax season begins today, and if you don't want to wait for your refund, filing early is the key. I want to bring in Irina Ivanova to break down everything for us about the paperwork, what you need to know. She's a CBS News MoneyWatch reporter. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's get into it. The last few tax seasons, they've been a little bit chaotic because of the pandemic. Will this year be any different? What are the steps people should take to get organized before they submit their returns?
Good morning. So the IRS is optimistic that this year will be better. They have about 5,000 more staff that they've hired since last season, mostly to answer phones, do customer service things. So we will see. If you want to go ahead and get started, the most important thing is to make sure and get all your forms. For most of us, that's going to be the W-2 form from your employer, maybe some 1099s from a bank, from a brokerage account. And even though tax season starts today, employers actually have until the end of this month to send all those forms out. So it might mean folks just need to sit tight and make sure to have all of that on hand before they actually start filing.
So, Irina, when should people actually expect to receive their refunds then?
It does depend on how you file. So if you file electronically, and you should do everything in your power to file electronically and choose a direct deposit for your refund, most people in that situation will get their refunds pretty fast. The government says that about 9 out of 10 electronically filed refunds come in within about 21 days. People who are claiming the earned income tax credit will have to wait a little longer because legally those refunds can't go out until late February. If you have filed on paper, we know it's not always possible to e-file. Unfortunately, those refunds take the longest. They usually take at least 4 to 6 weeks, but I've heard of cases of people waiting much, much longer, in some cases, many months to get that refund, unfortunately.
So should people be expecting less money than they got in previous years?
A little bit, yes.
Okay.
The IRS is warning folks that because so much money went out during the pandemic, because of the stimulus payments, a lot of additional tax credits. For instance, the earned income tax credit was boosted for some people. There was an additional child tax credit that some folks got in their refunds. So because of all of that, the refunds for the last few years have been a little bit high. And the IRS is warning folks, if they've gotten used to those slightly higher refunds, to maybe not get too excited. The years before the pandemic, the average refund was something like $2,800 or so. So that's more in line with what people should be expecting now.
So we often talk about refunds, but for many people, they don't even want to think about filing this year's taxes because they still owe from last year. So I just want to ask a little bit about that. Sometimes people get really nervous. They don't want to contact the IRS. They just want to sort of put their head in the sand about it. Any advice for people who maybe still owe from the previous year?
Well, definitely don't put your head in the sand. I have been there getting scary mail from the IRS. The best thing you can do is just open it, read it, figure out what's up. And I would put in a plug for talking to a tax professional, especially, now, like this week. Don't wait until later in the tax season when everybody is going to be swamped. Call someone this week and just lay it out. Say, this is what's going on, or you can say, I'm not sure what's going on. I've gotten this piece of paper. Usually the IRS is very, very willing to make a deal with folks. They just want to feel like you're putting in an effort.
Yeah, always the key is to keep communication open. They can hammer out a payment plan, but don't ignore it when the IRS tries to get in contact with you. Irina, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.